तुम्हें हलाया
चलो चलो माला पे लाइक
हाँ हो गया चलो अब सेम लिंक रहेगी ना हाँ ठीक सेम ही है ना लिंक तो
शेयर बटन दबा
सेम है देख लेते फिर भी हाँ सेम है ये कौन सा एक्सपेरिमेंट 9 है एक्सपेरिमेंट 9 है लेट्स गो
आने दो
अरे साबा पे आ गया कल एस पी सी पी आ गया अपना सी पी आई
माला पे लाइक
ब्लैक
ये पिछली बार की तरह तुम दोनों स्ट्रीम सेट करने लगे छोटू को एंड ये शूट करके चला जाएगा असाइनमेंट
ये तो चाइल्ड आएगा मुझे दिखाने अच्छा
लेट्स गो असाइनमेंट स्टार्ट किया तुमने लिखना मेरे को एक पेज देना
हवाने से
बहुत लेके बैठा हूं भाई मैं
अरे
अरे मेरा मौका है बहुत ले ले भाई
एक पेन भी देना ब्रो
इस सेट ज्यादा होता ही नहीं
एंड
करता
हाथ में हम 30 सेकंड बहुत ज्यादा
मिल गया पेन मिल गया
उतना ही अलाउड होता है
Hey guys.
तो कम कर सकते हैं
हे देव कैसा है तू क्यों भाई हे वे क्यों लिखा है देव मत लिख भाई जरूरत नहीं है ओ माय गॉड माय आईज
गाइस गेस्ट आया
आप घूमा
कौन गेस्ट है
स्ट्रीम में
ओह होली
गेस्ट
गेस इज हियर गाइस आना बैठना भाई
स्ट्रीम को लगा
बैठना भाई सबको हाय बोलना है बहुत सारे लोग देख रहे हैं अपने
बहुत
करोड़ों लोग देख रहे हैं तो हाय बोल फैंस को मेरे
कौन करेंगे दो
भाई
बहुत होते हैं
भाई, दो बहुत है।
मुझे तो
तो इधर देख रहा होगा कोई
क्या
एक तो इधर ही देख रहा होगा
हाँ
मैं देख रहा हूं
गाइस अब इंट्रोडक्शन दे
मेरा ही जाना
ये अग्नि है
मेरा आऊंगा रिव्यूअर में
देख
ये अग्नि है इसके पास नोट्स है देखो गाइस बहुत पढ़ने वाले लोग हैं इधर
ये अग्नि है ये इलेक्ट्रिकल
भाई
के
क्या
हैं।
जमा के
क्या जमा के लिखा है भाई टॉप करने के मूड में है
आगे नाम पढ़ ले पहले
आजकल बुलेट बहुत घूमते हैं
होली
मिस्त्री जी के
किसी और का बुक मार के आया अग्नि जी
प्राउड ऑफ यू
कुछ तो बहुत हो गया आता रूम पे 461 मत आ भाई देव तेरे लिए बंद है रूम अभी बंद करिए हम लोग ने रूम इतने लोग बहुत है
अरे
मतलब
लिंक आने देना श्रेयस को चाहिए थी
लिंक आने दो कौन सी लिंक कौन सी रात को भेजता हूँ
अरे टैंगो वाली
थैंक यू थैंक यू
Yes.
ले भाई ले लिंक ले सबको भेज दे ठीक है जो भी लड़कियां दिखे सबको भेज दे बात करनी
ना
है
जाके देखता हूँ
देखो
लाएगा मैं देख रहा हूं फोन से
मेरा अकाउंट नहीं ठीक है मेरे पास नंबर सेव है तेरे पास भी मैंने सेव करवाया था ठीक है अग्नि याद रखियो ठीक है
किसका है?
लाइक
प्रभु का है चलो भाई
तो दो बार भेज दिया
वो स्टडी पे बंद कर व्हाट्सएप पे पहले माथे छोड़
क्या बता रहा है
आजकल भरोसा ही
वही
नहीं
लग रहा था कि वैसे
समझ का भरोसा ही नहीं
दे दिया मेरे को लगा वैसे ही
नहीं भाई तू दे सकता ना मेरे को
क्या देख रहा
चल
था
ना देता हूँ
मुझे लगने का व्हाट्सएप चाहिए
एक दिन के लिए आना देता हूँ
अभी नया नया है, सब देखा
ये स्ट्रीम अपलोड नहीं होने देगा मैं भाई तेरे को है ना इतना मारूंगा ना देव कोई कुछ बोलना है तेरे को
आई लाइक दिस
रोल नंबर लिखने भाग गया ऊपर
वाह क्या सीन है
लिखने कट्टा पुट्टा हुआ है
देख रहे हो गाइस रोल नंबर लिखने में हक दिया प्रभु ने हंस रहा है यहाँ पे चिरकू
स्ट्रीम में ध्यान रहेगा
स्ट्रीमिंग बनना है स्ट्रीमिंग करना है राउंडो को चलो लेट्स गो लिखते हैं असाइनमेंट
बोल रहा है मेरा रोल नंबर क्यों नहीं लिखा
काश मेरा रोल नंबर लिख देता मेरा काम हो जाता
काश
भाई मैं खुद नया भेज दूं बोले यार किसी और का रोल नंबर काट के खुद का लिख दिया मुझे यार
इतना बंद कर तेरी शक्ल देख के लगेगा अभी उसको
हां वही शक्ल ही ऐसी है आराम से लगवा दी
कोई देख पा रहा है क्या देख तो देव देख रहा है अपन खुद देख रहे हैं भाई वो पेंसिल से डायग्राम बनाया तुम लोग ने वो मस्त चिपका चिपका के
अभी बनाऊंगा ना रुक तो
पेंसिल से जल्दी नहीं पेंसिल बना देना
उन्होंने तो बहुत मेहनत की है भाई
कौन मेहनत किया इतना
पता नहीं कोई 30 रोल नंबर
इसमें थ्योरी है हमारे का है क्या
रोल नंबर 30 कौन है बे
मैं बूटी
30
अबे हाँ रशी को फोन करके बोलना मेरे को मेरे लिए गर्म पानी रखना
दूसरी की बात है
वो गले में कुछ खराश हो रही है
इसका लिया
नेक्स्ट टीम पे सब अपलोड हो रहा है नारायण का लोग बोलेंगे लोग नारायण
सॉरी मां
ये बात से सब दिखाया हुआ इंट्रो पर हेलो दशील एक काम करेगा क्या
नहीं
गर्म पानी रखेगा मेरे लिए एक केटल में
लाउड करके बोल बात कर
क्या चाहिए भाई
गर्म पानी चाहिए ब्रो केटल
चैट
में।
पे रिक्वेस्ट आई है 10 को
अरे तू रख देना, मैं तेरे को पानी दे के आता हूँ, मेरे को रखना नहीं आता केटल में।
ओ लाइव स्ट्रीम पे बोल रहा है यार अभी।
हाँ आया, पानी दे के आया 2 मिनट में। हाँ
ये पानी देता
अभी तक रोल नंबर नहीं लिखा इसने।
अरे डरते हैं क्या, कल सुबह हो जाएगा।
मेरा असाइनमेंट गायब नहीं हो जाए।
कौन राजा बन रहा है असाइनमेंट देख के? ओ माँ सर ना देख लेगा इसे।
ओए ओए ओए
लाइटिंग से प्रॉब्लम, लाइटिंग मेरे को परफेक्ट चाहिए, लाइटिंग का प्रॉब्लम नहीं चाहिए। स्क्रीन चल रही है, लोग करोड़ों लोग देख रहे हैं, समझ नहीं आया तू।
करोड़ों में कौन कौन है कि ना जरा।
पी लेते पहले पी लेते माशो।
और ये नया होस्ट आया मोहित, इसकी स्क्रीन पसंद है तो बोलना मुझे। डिसलाइक कर लेना सब लोग गाइस, भर के।
सबसे पहले तो हेड आएगा देव का, देव पर यार ये क्या आ गया।
चलेगा
देव को बैन कर, देव को बैन कर।
देखो मैं कह दे भाई,
साले कैसे करते हैं भाई? एक तो
अबे,
वीडियो में
दिखा
को
दो,
बैन
दिखा
कर दोगे तुम।
इसके नाम के आगे 3 डॉट लगे, लगा है तो
हां
लॉक कर दे। रिपोर्ट रिमूव,
पुट
टाइम आउट टाइम आउट टाइम आउट टाइम आउट डाल दे। 5 मिनट, 5 मिनट का टाइम आउट है अभी, 5 मिनट पैसे नहीं
डिफॉल्ट है क्या?
डिफॉल्ट 5 मिनट होता है।
डिलीट हो गए सारे मैसेज भी। एक ही तो व्यूअर था तुम्हारा मेरे।
जीरो गया हमसे
हैं व्यूअर कहां था?
एनालिटिक्स आ रहा होगा।
कंकरेंट व्यूअर 0। एक लाइक है, मतलब एक जना ही देखा है वीडियो में।
देख पड़े यार उसको भी टाइमर पे बिठा दिया।
वो भी चला जाएगा गुस्सा होके। अभी अगर मैं कुछ भी चेंज करूंगा तो उसमें क्या बोलते हैं, स्ट्रीम में दिखेगा या स्ट्रीम में कौन सा स्क्रीन आ रहा है अभी?
स्ट्रीम में कैमरा का फीड आ रहा है बस।
और कुछ नहीं आएगा ना?
क्या है इतना सारा बनाना है क्या डायग्राम?
बस ऐसे ही बना।
बनाओगे तो कैसे बनाना है क्या बोलो?
हाँ
इसका आ रहा मैं सो रहा हूँ करके एडिट नहीं है।
क्या कर रहे थे? कुछ नहीं, दिखाओ दिखाओ पीछे क्या छुपा रहे हो। मेरे लाख मना करने के बावजूद अब तुम छुप छुप के पढ़ाई करने लग गए हो। आज कोई वीडियो बनाया? नहीं पापा। कोई स्क्रिप्ट लिखी? नहीं पापा। अरे कोई स्टोरी तो डाली होगी एंगेजमेंट बढ़ाने के लिए।
काम लगा क्या? रूम में क्या लगा मेरा प्लीज?
उससे काम करवा रहा हूँ
बिगड़ गया हमारा बच्चा।
If I say something, it will be like बोला तू टोपू। देखो सारा डिलीट हो गया भाई, देव बेचारा कुछ लिख ही नहीं पा रहा है।
ओए मॉडल को लैपटॉप में नीचे डाल।
भाई मोहित बंद क्या, दरवाजा बंद क्या, कोई चोरी कर रहा है भाई। बहुत मारे अंदर रूम में भाई, करोड़ों का माल है।
करोड़ में आधा। अबे लॉन्ड्री वाला कब तक खुला रहता है? आज भी नहीं देखा होगा।
आज भी रात को नहीं दे पाएगा तुम्हारे को। आज भी नहीं दे पाएगा यार, शिट।
अबे कैट के सारे एक्सपेरिमेंट वो हुआ है जो स्पोकन ट्यूटर का सारा डेटा उसी वाला
कैट क्यों पड़े थे लोग ऐसे?
बता रहा हूँ।
भाई देखना यार स्कोर क्या हुआ है एमआई का। मैं नहीं देख सकता भाई। मैं नहीं देख रहा भाई। मैं देखा एमआई की 4 विकेट गिर गई तो बंद कर दिया स्टार्टिंग में। आईपीएल
लेट्स गो। कोई देख रहा है मुझे? मत देखो।
क्या कर रहा है
लखनऊ का सपोर्टर हो
इसका?
मैं यार ये 5 बॉल बढ़ती थी
हम्म
कंटीन्यूअसली 8 इधर एमआई पे लगाया था क्या पता?
नहीं मैं तो उसको कैप्टन बनाया था, राहुल को। उसने 100 सेंचुरी मार दी। 15 पे तो मिल ही रहे ब्रो।
बोला था भोसड़ी के कैप्टन मतलब रोहित को बना ला, वाइस कैप्टन रोहित को बना ले, बना नहीं मारा।
नहीं, सूर्य कुमार को बनाया था, वो 7 रन ही मारा बस।
बोला था ना रोहित को मार दे।
मेरे को लगा सूर्य कुमार खेल लेते कभी कभी। बाबू ये बार एक्स्ट्रा पैन है क्या?
आज वानखेड़े था ना भाई।
हाँ वानखेड़े।
वानखेड़े
भाई तुम लोग वानखेड़े में हारे, तुम्हें पता है रिकॉर्ड कितना है वानखेड़े में? 62% विन रेट है तुम्हारा, उधर ही हारे।
नहीं चलती है वो सब।
भाई अभी टीम की हालत देखना तू।
मैं आ ही रहा हूँ, मैं आ रहा हूँ, मेरे को पेन चाहिए।
वही पहनने क्या वो मंदिर का
चप्पल में शू भी रख के आता हूँ ना, मुझे काम करता हूँ।
मैं जितना बड़ा स्क्रीन है देखा हमें, फोन में क्यों देख रहे हो?
यार नहीं दिख रहा, बहुत ज्यादा है।
छोड़ दे क्या? कौन आ जाए वरना ऐसे समझ
लगा बना देगा वो।
मैं एक बार
इसका मॉडिफाई करा था वो भी नहीं।
जोगू बहुत लिखवाया कि भाई असाइनमेंट अपने।
भाई ये लाइव स्ट्रीम है भाई, अब जो वो देखेगा लाइव स्ट्रीम में चैट।
Guardians at Spectre, so that's not a round Optic should feel comfortable about. It requires Marv finding 4 kills from nothing.
Somehow slipping mid.
But
Perfectly
he's,
right,
caught by,
like-
he's caught by the alarm bot.
Yeah.
He tried to TP over the alarm bot. He's actually placed a little deeper towards steps, but
It looked like Aspas had his number, but again, the Guardian just good enough with Marv, dealt with him well, and that just unlocked every possibility. I would say, though, we still have to once again boil this back. Now, Loud have been good enough to close this scoreline in. Now, I would say both of these teams could probably convert a round off of like one player's brilliance. I think that's a fair assessment of their capability here. However, I do want to keep my eye on the money, because I'm pretty sure that's going to be coming into question for Loud here as well, and what a bad time for that to become a problem.
I mean, it is considering the string of rounds they couldn't really stabilize, bank any of that
Yeah.
throughout. Optic were constantly doing damage. It was coming down to 1v1s, 2v1s, so lots of repurchases being forced through, but Optic finally, after an eternity, find themselves here on map point on Ascent. And look at the buy for Loud, Spectre, Stinger, 3 rifles, light armor.
इंडिया बोल
Worried about.
Sadhack
देखिए टारगेट ना कर
does have the ultimate, less does have his as well. I kind of still with that TP.
Already a tense game. This is only map 1. This is best of 5. Strap yourself in. This is going to be a good day.
चौथा प्लेयर भूल गया बच्चों, और 5वां जर्मन का था, YP ऐसा कुछ तो भी था। जर्मन वाला कैसे कह सकता है?
Hey, for Valorant, we've got some great stuff coming up. I can only imagine what else is going to happen here. Is already Optic and Loud putting on a beautiful performance for us.
नेट कब चलेगा क्योंकि इधर स्टीम हो रहा है ना, 4 टीम
First
चला
man forward happens to try and take the attention.
स्टैंडर्ड में चलेगा नहीं लगता मेरे को।
The attention, but look at where the intention is over towards A. Spike to the pocket of FNS.
अभी वो है ना उसका
ये ऑप्टिक गेम मस्त खेलता है जटिया।
It's been good for it. He's got Aspas on this side as well this round.
Again, noting, yeah, that's a big indicator. It's almost planting doubt here, but the Aldon on the other side are going to force Pancada back. Should now be a much bigger indicator to Loud of whereabouts Optic are positioned.
Are they going to get... I was wondering if they were going to get proactive on the shot to try and maybe deal with Ye potentially. So I just saw the rotation of Sadek, but it doesn't seem the case. Is Ye looking mid?
I think
They
they
pulled the
feel as if they
rotation.
देखना पड़ता है ना, लोगों व्यूअर्स से बातें करनी पड़ती है, वरना तो ये तो खेल रहे थे, उनको पता ही नहीं चैट में कौन कुछ क्या लिख रहा है।
pulled the rotation. Yeah, they know it.
have. I mean, Sadak did fall over with them, so yeah, he needs to be careful to not give away too much here, because he's such a thorn in the side. And this is just adding this paranoia to Loud. They're getting worried. The map's feeling smaller and smaller. It's all going to close in on them as Optic now recalibrate. They look towards short as a way to go, and it's Aspas waiting. Only a Spectre, though. Has to make it work somehow. Spins in fast, tries to do some damage. Does get a bit of damage on Ye as well. Just going to try and fire it down, but it's crashes towards Pancada. The site should be open. Yes, there's the backfill of Sadak, but again, it's only a stinger. This is not ideal at all. Loud going to have to fall away from this, 3 of them. Having to reconsider how they get back in on this site, because right now, Optic are firmly in charge.
Lockdown comes through and actually going to pull out the Hunter's Fury here, so
अरे वो एनवी करके था, उसको खरीद लिया था उन लोगों ने, तो वो पूरी टीम
actually Marved on the back of it, going to find a kill.
Yeah, and now it's Les and Sassy. Map 1 in the balance already. Marv going to spot them on the cross, and Les actually finds Marv. Now they've got to know the Crashes was down below, but can they do anything to deal with him? Can they dig him out of this spot? FNS has been phenomenal this game, but he needs a little bit of it here. Again, trying to just get this one done. Victor delivers it. He delivers the second as well. It's 13-9. Optic get map 1.
Felt a little tense there, a little touch and go in the second half, but finally stabilising. Once again, Optic showing that they're able to stand their ground. Wow, did Loud make that interesting. That felt like it should have been a formality after the first half, Lauren. And this is always the worry with Loud. They're so resilient, like you said.
There's no easy game against Loud. There's no easy map against Loud. I think that is very, very apparent here. But for Optic, you've got to say, their evolution already, the capability to come back here in the second meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just goes to show, you don't lose to Optic twice, right? And you come through here, there's lots of new looks. We see just little tiny adjustments on the defensive setups, which, like I said, I'll be honest, one of the best defensive performances we've probably seen on Ascent at this event. It was so comfortable for them. So you really got to give credit there to, once again, the innovation at this event alone from Optic. Just cooking up some of these little strats.
It has been wonderful to watch. Now, this is only map 1. We have potentially 4 more to go. Bind would be the next battlefield here, then Breeze. Plenty more to be seen. And the fans know this is going to be a long day. It's only map 1, so don't get too worried just yet. But we do need to talk about the bigger picture as well as to what this means, because did you think this was going to go Optic's way?
I think we had a really interesting veto. I actually said we either have a 3-0 or it goes to...
सेम होगी ना कलर की मतलब ऐसी होनी चाहिए देखते पता नहीं वैक्यूबिक में ही है ना सेम होगी नहीं बाकी है 6 और 7 ही आए
were looking a little bit dicey there for Optic in the second half, but they managed to close it out, and they lead right now 1-0 in this best of 5. I'm Yingsu, and I've got Sideshow Baller and Doug back with me on the desk. Did any point you guys believe in the comeback?
Oh, yeah.
I did.
I think we all did.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, everybody believed in that comeback, apparently, because we put out a poll earlier to ask you guys who you think is going to win this series. Optic were leading by 2 or 3%, but Bola, I know you weren't expecting Loud to be behind, and the Brazilian fans, they heard you.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they came back. They understood the green wall was out in force, and they just came back. I mean, not by much. I was actually expecting them to roar back ahead, to be honest.
Well, look, after that, it might just swing right back.
Hopefully the poll is closed after that.
Yeah, it might after map 1, but I do want to talk about a couple of things we saw in the second half. Again, all of you kind of believed in that comeback, but how impressed are you that Optic, they actually managed to close it out in the end?
Yeah, I think that speaks to some level of mental resilience, but it was incredibly difficult for them. Frankly, the work was done in the first half, though. As entertaining as the second half was, Optic put up, in my opinion, the best Ascent defense that we've seen at this tournament. And this world, this year in the world.
Could you imagine, had that first half not been 10-2?
Yeah.
And had it been 8-4 or something like that? Optic won 3 rounds in the second half. 2 of them were thrifties.
Yeah. This is ridiculous, and it was because of Marv, too. I mean... Both rounds he had such an impact, but this was the one where he almost aced by lurking through mid. So this guy is such a playmaker, and I think he saved the game, saved this comeback from actually being a reality for Loud.
And I think this speaks a little bit to how Optic are approaching this game. FNS has such a phenomenal read on his opponents when they're on the defensive side, and they have just struggled a little bit to convert that on the attack half sometimes. It's not all the time, but it's going to creep into their play a little bit. I think they're really good in that structured prep element, but a little shaky outside of that, and that's where Loud could find their openings.
Yeah, and that was the first loss for Loud in this year, in this tournament, either on Ascent. They were 12-0 before this, and I think it couldn't have come at a better time for Optic because they needed to flip a map during this best of 5.
And it had to be Ascent. Ascent is where they came looking really strong, and they've struggled. The entire tournament,
Well,
Ascent has not looked as good as it had.
I would disagree that it had to be Ascent. I think that obviously there's more room for them to flip a map in this the best of 5 in general, like Icebox or obviously Breeze is a big thing where we have no clue what is going to happen for Optic.
If you're putting your eggs in the Breeze basket, Baller, you're off. I'm agreeing with Doug. I think it had to be here, and I think this changes a lot of the scope of this game. Because like you said, they were really struggling to convert their domestic incredible Ascent win rate to coming to the world stage and playing against the best teams, and now they've done it. They delivered Loud's first loss. They might have to do it again on Bind too.
If it helps, Baller, I'm with you. I'm on the Breeze. My eggs are in the Breeze basket. One guy we have spoken about a lot in this tournament is Les. Here he is in the AIM Lab shoot-around. Doug, I know you've been a really big fan of his, but a little bit quiet Les that we saw on that map.
Yeah, 7-18 on Ascent. You think about their previous matchup, we talked so much about him actually going into a set because we understood how good of an anchor he is and how he needs to be able to make plays. Delivered in the first matchup here, much more quiet. I think to Josh's point, as we were mentioning earlier, that's a big stage. That's a lot of pressure, and it may have been too much for the kid there.
Thankfully, Loud is a super team, and they have different people that can step up at different times, but that's what you're really looking for here. Who's going to step up as we move deeper into this series and try and pull this series back into Loud's control? Because I would have favored them originally. It's looking like anyone's game now.
I mean, speaking of flipping maps, we're going to go on to map 2 now, which is Bind. Baller, you spoke about the fact that Loud have never lost on Ascent, although the sample is a lot smaller here, but they've also never lost on Bind.
Yeah, no, they haven't. It's 5-0, but they haven't played at this tournament, right? Nobody's actually challenged them on this, so that's why I said at the beginning of the day it was a little bit of a risk for Optic. Now that they've flipped Ascent, I think obviously that pressure on this one is a little bit alleviated, but to hold and to continue the advantage, I think still is going to be a tough task.
Take a look at this knife. So But this is what Loud do on this map, at least what they've been doing domestically. Sadak has the KO. It's a really unusual pick, and he will throw the knife at 140, lands in showers, and helps them take that control, or at least draw people to that area, which means when the clock hits a minute, Sadak has the knife online again, so that he can go for these kind of pivots. And here in this round, he throws it into Hookah, but they've also been doing the drone down short, all sorts of things. Now, we had to pull this footage from their online games, because like you said, they just haven't done it at this tournament. I'm not even sure they're going to run the KO. I'm not even sure they're going to do the same stuff. And that's also going to be going through Optic's head. Both of these teams on paper are great on bind. I would always give the favor to Optic, though, because it's actually been proven against the best teams that we have out there.
Yeah, and you're always going to favor recency bias when you're looking at the VODs. So not having played it at all through this, that's another advantage coming through the upper bracket. And I have to say, Aspas is a monster. If you have not watched him on this map, I know we just saw some crazy stuff from him, and I honestly think some way crazy stuff where it's not a good thing. On this map, it's special.
It's going to have to be the good crazy out of Aspas here, not the bad crazy that you were just alluding to. Yeah, I think, again, we think about this from a larger perspective. Ascent, I really felt like needed to go Optic's way. Bind feels a bit more comfortable. We talked about the regional matchups versus the international stage and how those really are apples to oranges in a lot of ways.
It would be wild if you see both of these maps flip in the opposite direction. And I'm not counting it out. Loud have previously been playing with a KO. They play with no Sky, which is another weird thing to throw in there too. It's a very different look, and who knows what they've been doing in their prep coming into this game. They knew Bind was going to be in here. That's not a luxury that Optic necessarily had. It was an option that Loud could have taken that away and left you with Fracture. So I'm just intrigued to see whether Loud stick to their game plan that we saw from them online and what they have. Because when I was watching the VODs, it really was just that one element with the KO.
Well, we're heading to the Prime Gaming Agent Select. And now, as you said, Sideshow, the KO previously came out domestically for Loud. But you guys, it sounds like you want to see some changes, perhaps?
Not necessarily. I think it was innovative and creative where nobody actually is expecting that, but...
They have run the Astra before, but not the last time we saw them play.
No, not at all. I mean, Sadak is changing it over. They weren't even running Viper on this map, on Bind. They were running no Viper.
Brim only.
This is a massive shift away, and frankly, who knows what to expect here. I think Loud have showcased that they are good on this map, undefeated, but this is brand new.
This is a traditional comp, I think, that we saw from prior controller nerf meta, and it's going to be interesting to see how they change everything that they came into it. A couple of maps they've been doing this on, it's going to be interesting, really interesting.
Well, Optic, they have the advantage now, but this is an interesting change coming out of the side of Loud. Pansy and Hypok, let's see if this pays off.
Yeah, it's a great question of does this pay off? Because we have seen great success domestically for Loud here, as the desk kind of noted. But it's a different environment now. It's a whole different team, and it's Optic.
We lose the context now. We're coming here to uncharted territory in terms of the comp, and ultimately, like you said, there's some tape here for Optic.
Yes.
Whether or not Loud are going to be able to apply this composition change effectively is going to be the biggest question here on Bind.
Well, now's the time to do it, isn't it? 8 seconds, and we start this one up. Map 2, if you're just tuning in, Optic converted map 1 after a blistering start.
Eventually.
Precarious second half. Now, things did close in, but obviously Loud did bow down in that one, but it's their chance to come back into this now and prove their diligence on this map in Bind. It's not going to be easy, though. Optic already looking fired up. We've seen Marv hitting new highs. F&S leading from those front lines. And Loud, I want to see Aspas find that form. I want to see Pancada back on it. I want to see everyone hit that level. They certainly can.
Just a 5-man lean towards B side. It's only 2 members for Optic here. F&S and Crashies will feel a little bit of this pressure if Loud decide to follow through. Yeah, just waiting on this wall to drop, but no rotation come through from Optic just yet. And not a lot of utility to really actually... Yeah, the crunch is going to come through.
Yeah, and the delivery on one. Crashies was able to find Aspas, so that's going to lose a little bit of the burst. Sadak, he only saw one. He didn't know that Victor had threaded through with the trade out. Les still finds the shot. F&S on the site needs to do well here. Does damage, but that is not going to really convert into a kill. Les still is alive, so it is that additional player. If there's a gun up, man, it still counts. Molly going to try and clear at least a little of the site, force them to unfavorable scenarios and try and tee up Ye here. That's lovely for Ye. Needs 2 more, though. As the side, they're still holding this down. Yay again! This guy, the golden gun in his hand, 14 HP. Satsy's got it! Ooh. close first round, and if that's anything to go by, we've got an absolute heater in this one.
Great usage of the molly, though. Just to set Ye up, force them into these uncomfortable positions in backside. And like you said, with that golden gun, Ye still makes this interesting. The FNS with the triple swing there. I mean, it's a miracle he even does that much damage.
I thought it was just cooked. I like this from Loud. I want them to kind of bound back into this so we get a nice close series.
But another key indicator early on here, Optic very comfortable to get proactive.
Oh, that's
again, as soon as that wall drops, they know they have that window of opportunity to really punish Loud, or at least do some damage on the way in.
Yeah. So I was a little worried there wasn't a rotation. That was my big worry. Then there was kind of slow, but that TP take was great. The crunch, very nice. A little bit of a look of things to come.
Yeah, he posted really deep. Actually, he's going to pull Optic in this early rotation line.
And he's allowed them to now stack 4 players over towards A. Pressure on this man.
Take flight.
They can get a little over-aggressive almost. Speaking of, Victor unleashes, goes straight forward, finds Sassy. They're just baffled by this, Loud. I'm certain of it, because FNS waiting as well. This is still so dangerous. Victor's got the upgrade. FNS venomous with it as well, finding Sadak. And now Pancada. What's happened here? He's got the spike to hand, but he's got no teammates, and Ye is still patrolling. Pancada, if he falls back, he goes to Ye. If he aggresses forward, he's got 2 players to find. What are the options here? The undesirable scenario. He's going to take some real brilliance to do something with this. TP is available if he wants to try it, but Ye, I mean, he'll still see that. Grashy's the first test. He's going to dip. He's going to make him work for his dinner. And Carter has to try and do something. Spots out too. Still keeps his HP, though. He's trying to bait Crashes back in. He wants it. He's not going to get it. Optic, turn it right back around. 1-1 now.
What a thrifty round. Again, like I said, immediately Ye drifts down short.
Huge.
There's so much space to work with there. And it opens up the possibility to actually be proactive once again.
The conditioning of that alone now. You can't just do those all-in leans. You have to now keep that in mind that maybe Ye's going to go walkabouts.
And the key thing here is they have no utility flank control, right? So it's drawing Pancada deeper and deeper, further away from
Take
these
him away from it,
executes.
yeah, absolutely.
And actually that increases the pressure on Aspas, Sassy, and Sadhak to find these opening engagements.
That's the way that round went down is going to be something to really worry about for Loud. They can recover just fine, but it's certainly going to cause that little bit of paranoia, a little worry.
Actually, the second leg to this is it's one of these key engagements we always talk about, and it was the showers pressure, right? This is such a pivotal part of the map here, particularly for the attackers.
Still getting away with it. Oh, now he's holding this down. I thought he was dead to rights, so at least one of them investing utility deal. And second, still stands. Actually gets himself out of danger. And speaking of danger, really Sassy now the only one with the upgraded weapon. So he'd be the only one to really be able to find an easier shot.
A bit of a misread here, unless actually, no, FNS is just swapping out for the hero, you're right. Yeah, he will actually find less, so we'll drop the wall. Yeah, and leave Loud feeling a little bit exposed here.
Not being given much. Sassy catches a nice bit of timing on Victor there just to readdress and look back towards showers. Again, needs a lot standing. 2 of them trying to pry this away.
30 seconds left.
There's no obviously weapons in hand. Yeah, the control is beautiful. Optic comfortable on that round. Kept composure. Almost over-aggressed towards shower, but fell back nicely towards sight. Really nice balance there.
Like I said, there's less that gets found. I think blind was with a bit of spam. I said their only real safety net there is the Viper wall. But again, nobody on the other side of it in lamps to even entertain the possibility of throwing that one away on the side of Optic. It's really, really well controlled. I'll come back into this. I mean, full buy other than Sassy down on the light shield due to the Sheriff in the previous, but Hunter's Fury available here. See for Optic, the showstopper offline. Pretty early for Victor, so that's huge to come into round 4 with the showstopper. Very early. It could be a real curveball here, actually.
Commands addressing. You can't just leave it on its own, and the rotation's quick for Victor. She's shoulder peek. Haven't really got any contact yet, but you can see the trade out here. So unable to deny. And that's going to reveal at least 2 players then.
Did nothing off the drone as well.
So we notice this 3-2 split, and there's a send. Doesn't find what he wants at all, sends it right back in. Hunter's Fury going to get popped as well. Victor tries to do the dance, and wow, He can't keep up the footwork, not quick enough, and Sassy's going to find him. That's the player advantage they were dreaming of. FNS now dealt with. Oh, dealing with, maybe, should I say, as Les and Pancada go down, still controlling on long, 30 HP, but it's a spike scene for the breakthrough on the Woods' site. And he's got to turn around and face the music. Sadak's right there. And now Ye, what is this position? Is he on the attacking side at this point? No, but he's the one who's down and out. Spike now recovered, and it's Marv. And it's the TP, surely, yeah, they're through. And Marv, what are your options
30
now?
seconds left.
He's going to try and catch him.
You got to run, boys, run, because Marv is hot on your heels. Oh, what a shot, Aspas. That's what you need. Loud, thriving in that chaos now.
Like, ooh, he just misses the plant, actually. That would have been Seekers online for him.
Oh, nice.
He would have found it. But damage done. And you can see, actually, the knock-on effect here to the economy of Loud. Again, FNS lining him up. And so much damage done to Sassy, but the pinch from Hooker, perfectly timed. We're able to trade this out effectively, and Ye, I mean, he's put in a rough spot there to challenge. I think he's desperate to try and keep control of the spike, but a chance there if he does reset. Him and Marv can set up for that 2v2. How much Loud have to invest to try and find this early showers control? And again, the Trailblazer on the back of it. So much burnt up. This is a big win for Optic.
Oh, for the early exchange, but Crashies could be the equal. Oh, he still checks it so diligently. I thought Pancada was going to find that, but look at the aggress down short. The switch up so much shown towards Shower, and now they try and make the play towards short. They're going to draw the attention back in. The wall's still there. Going to keep them safe for the slip back, posting up Ye for now.
Optic are so good for finding this space.
So much pressure, they have to re-clear, so considered now. This is really lovely work, but it's all early round. It could all still fall apart. You can do everything right, and somehow Loud still can do just the right back things to you. Now, there's the utility. Seekers come in, they won't be able to find as much. They have to try and find a new way forward to avoid all that utility in play, but they're going to know FNS. He's still standing, and he's still fighting. Effective trades for Optic, as Ye on the back lines is still as effective as ever. And now just two, Sassy and Aspas, and again, these players are just taking fights and spray control, not enough to be able to adjust, but it's still Sassy. Gets straight from Shower and Ye. They've got to know he's around, but where?
30 seconds left.
Can Sassy find him? The rotation's coming in. Ye's heard that. I think he's seen that too. And the cross, it's being watched. Ye, beautiful presence here. And Optic keep two alive and command the tempo on this defensive side.
But Loud have to be a little more frugal in the early round here. They have nothing by the time they're actually pushing onto site. And it's not even the area they've invested all this utility early on. They reset, they drop. Yay. Sorry, I just put that replay there. What was that adjustment? But like I said, they have nothing to really rely on. I mean, the drones dealt with so early. Yay TP's away, so it basically mitigates that altogether. Loud, these hits are just, I'll be honest, extremely flat. Because it's relying on somebody just going in, finding an entry, and then snowballing from there. And Optic are in the right place at the right time. They usually have four. Because of what Crashies and Ye are able to do in the early round, they always have bodies in the right place.
I don't know if they saw Sadak there, but pushing through this. Sadak has to peel away.
Oh, I think they just missed him as well. But look at the space once again. It's going to pull this rotation of Ye potentially, because they know there's nothing set up outside 8.
He's bringing that toilet force right back around. He's still got his traps there as well. They're not really falling for much. They can maybe post up Marv if they're a little worried about that re-aggress. Okay, he's seen less, so might cause pause for thought here. Still got smokes to invest though, so that's again time being bought and a conundrum presented. Do you walk this? Do you try and get through this? Hot flash potentially. It didn't work. He positioned himself so well to not get blinded, dips back even further. And he's got support coming in on the back lines. Don't forget the Victor was with him. Victor just a little too late to try and save him, but you're right, he could. And now Optic going to make their way around, but Loud have a moment, a chance. It's going to be so slim, so fragile, as here it looks like Victor's made a meal of it. God. He's absolutely made a mess of that one, and Loud are going to capitalize. FNS, you got to fight this one out. He has to just accept that his fate was sealed. There's a chance, and you're right. 5 seconds for the flash. It was less than 5 HP on Pancada, as now Sadak low as well, almost caught across. And Crashies flashes back up, sends it. He's blind as anything. Crashies. His turn to save the day here, because Loud were on the precipice of turning that.
Comes up huge with the Red Bull clutch here for Optic after I felt like that one was going to slip through their fingers with so many successes early on here in this round. Again, creating so much space by being willing to be so proactive.
Okay, let's again, I like to take stock at this point. Can I hit the brakes a little bit? I want to see Loud come back in with an address towards that early utility exchange, potentially how they look towards showers control, how they're going to deal with this almost... I'd say Optic are winning out in that early battle. I want to see the adjustment in that for now.
It's not even close from Lauren.
I'm with you.
And like I said, the fact that...
Okay, that's
actually,
different.
But, right, it's another obstacle here in terms of this war of attrition for showers control early on.
But look at this aggression down on long as well. It's always one of these sites, or one of the sides is always being addressed. Be it Jaeger and Walkabouts being at the showers control. Optic, I think, yeah, they've definitely seen it. Okay, but this, if anything, encourages Ye to stick around, right? He's going to post up on this. He knows that there's some idea of players here. That's it, lovely delivery for Ye, falls away. Doesn't need to outstay his welcome. But while all this happens, they've still locked down showers. They've not given up short control. Optic are putting up a perfect wall of defense here. They are playing a good game right now.
This time around, a little more utility to work with the drone, try and pave the way. And TFNS just about finds out for Sadak. Last second adjustment. Orbital strike used preemptively here on shore just to slow it down, but Kress is still going to be able to find something here. He's got to slip away now.
But they still can't get past Ye. He's going to hold this cross. If they try and dip out through Luca, that's going to be such an issue. That's how you do it. With pace, with vigor, with that momentum, and now they've isolated Ye. They've got him on his own hip. He's going to do it again! It's a 2-for-1 discount! And Ye doesn't need any help. It's 10 seconds now, and Sassy... 10 seconds left. Wrap this up, man. You ain't going to get this in 7 seconds. FNS waiting, just sprays in on it, and Optic starting to build in this half already. Oh, man, this is... I think Loud needs a timeout, man. They need to stop this somehow.
I can't believe they line up for the collab. That is absolutely heartbreaking. They said Ye is just given so much space to work with. And now even, again, the awareness is there. They know after that kill to Pancada, he's still going to be somewhere, tucked in. And Ye makes them pay for that one. But again, it's desperation. They find the kill onto Marv. They have to just try and stick the plant there.
Maybe in this round, test the waters a little.
Run it down.
Frenzies, Sheriffs. But again, you think just purely utility alone, there's so much in that showers control, the crossfire for the post-plant, or even just post-plant position Loud is brutal. They almost have to overstep, overreach towards CT, and it looks like they're going to try and wrap a little through lamps. And the awareness from Ye, he's already considering this. The timing, oh, he just off to the side. Great work from Aspas. Value alone from that is massive. Victor does find less in the meantime, but any damage is good here. Pain Shell doesn't quite find it. The spike will go down. Loud driving right now.
See, Aspas still tucked in here. They're going to be able to bail him out. No, FNS finds the first. That's good for the trade.
Absolutely, especially with Victor on 5 HP, and the spacing not good enough for Marv to be able to find the swing. Divide goes up and he gets ahead of it. Sprays in, finds it. Oh, Marv!
Last player standing.
Digging his heels in on this round, but he still needs to deal with Pancada. He wants halfway. He's going to get halfway. He's not stopping. He's not stopping. Pancada has to sit back and watch as Marv rips the round away from them. And that was a chance. That was a little bit of hope, and they stamp it out.
The most Marved-esque round conclusion there. Again, no hesitation whatsoever. Sticks that through. There's the blanket, the safety blanket there of the smoke to hold up.
And there's the timeout. I want it coming in now.
Yeah.
It has to come in. I don't know what the answers are. Again, I'm nowhere near these players, but there has to be an addressment of something.
Again, I love this round. Actually, Optic play a little deeper. They're almost relying on playing plant denial initially with the snake bites. I mean, Victor, with the pressure coming through to him, he can't combine the paint shell with that. Not even sure if it would have resulted in a kill, but Optic, they know the rounds to push. They know the rounds to sit a little deeper. They're feeling so comfortable right now on the defense.
He's still playing songs that absolutely slap them in this room. Yeah, this is going to put Loud to the test here. And the coaches, it's time to talk, right? So they start trying to come up with a plan of approach. And for me, the fact is, though, that Optic have come out with such a solid start, but even if Loud are able to address the initial problems, there could be layers to this, there could be adaptation, there could be so much more behind it now.
Two big things I'm looking for here. Loud, if they continue to sit in these defaults, Pancada has to be a little more diligent, be a little more careful. And the other thing is, if they're going to resort actually more towards a traditional site execute, they've got to start saving this utility. I mean, we talked about this. They need to actually resort to a more, drilled, that choreographed kind of execute here. But the problem is, there's so many variations to the side of Optic. How do they isolate a kill there? This has to be like textbook execute to even find it. They have nothing to really rely on other than finding a first blood, creating the space themselves. Now, Yay with the operator back on board.
Crash is going to do, as said, the protocol list, run through it, and Pancada on the pre-fire. Yeah, spammed out on that. I don't think you could even see it. Getting the Seekers going as well. FNS going to dip away from the slightly, and Yay going to be called to really try and hold this defense together, because FNS, he's actually done well enough to be able to handle the front line of this and keep at least 3 of them standing against 3. There it is. Yay still stands. Connects towards Sassy and expects the swing from Hookah. No one's there. We know that, but obviously he doesn't. Still has to be super diligent, and when that wall drops, what does he see? Less tucks into the corner. He's still got support here.
Problem being, if they take this TP, Marv's already set up for it.
Yeah.
So they have to almost commit
here. The rotation. If they double swing this, it doesn't matter. Yay always will hold. And this guy is just, he knows it. He felt the pressure, and he's not going to risk it. He's going to wait for that rotation to come back in. Tempers his own aggression for once as Pancada now tries to find a way around, navigate something here. 2 towards CT, and that paranoia himself building. He's going to work his way in. The pre-fire on it. Beautiful work. Optic. They are looking like the full package again. This defensive side from them. Again, I don't want to get too ahead of myself because map 1 looked real similar, didn't it? And then, the switch up of the events. However, at 7-2, we have to give great deals of credit to how Optic is standing at the moment.
I mean, this is big as well because Optic conceded the first blood. And actually, it was such a standout statistic last time in their previous series. I mean, they only flipped 4 out of 16 4v5s. So to be that comfortable there, giving up the first, then resetting a little deeper. Again, here, it's the site they have 3 members on.
Yeah.
FNS delivers with the second follow-up. And actually, Victor good for the crunch once again to find a kill elsewhere. So that's really key for me, because Optic do more often than not rely on it.
He has to over-aggress on this. He's hunting them down! Yay, Unchained at the moment, just going to be hunting these players out. And this is against potentially like a force buy, maybe even an eco. That's so risky to go walking with an operator like that. Ridiculous.
And another little switch up. Optic are happy to dip their toes time and time again and test this default of Loud. Crashes once again. Yep, spots a pixel out of place. He said this is the reset. What's next on the protocol list for Optic?
First there in time, invest the utility. No quick pressure can come up from long now, but this time they do at least have a little bit of presence towards Hookah. We didn't see that before for Loud, so this could be a nice element towards this, and they don't know about FNS, at least positionally yet, normally tucked up on long. And out they go. Quick pressure on the side. FNS was... What? Where was the call? Aspas. Okay, doesn't matter. It's fine. He's got his all himself. Finds Jay as well as the follow-up, and Crashes gets the reveal. It doesn't matter. Loud explode on the side. Finally looking deadly. Marv still stand, and there's always going to be a chance if this man's alive, but... what are you meant to do with this?
Throws the showstopper out as well, so the plant can come through comfortably. A 2v3 now for Victor and Marv. Sassy posted up in front of Hookah. He gets spotted on the jumping gun. Oh, he found him!
Unreal from Victor. And now look at what they've got weaponry. They've got a Stinger and a Spectre. It's so subpar, and Marv clearing meticulously towards long. Trying to make his way back in towards his site. He adjusted, dipped away from Hookah itself, and now they're clearing through. They have to clear these close angles. They're trying to bring these SMGs to the best place. The timing's good. They fight together, and now just one Aspas who got this started made it a problem. Still being a problem. Showstoppers up, baby. Let's go. He gets it on the trade.
No way. Victor still lands that, but the showstopper finds him regardless.
How did he even hit that shot? There was a second in it.
Just beautiful work from Marv once again, though. This smoke completely baits Loud into set up, expecting him to come out of Hookah. This is fantastic as well, by the way.
Nasty. Nasty work.
Sassy's the one posted up with a Bulldog, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So he's the strongest weapon remaining on the side of Loud, but Aspas finds the Red Bull clutch. And Loud, their 3rd round.
Critical one as well for Loud. Needed that. And Optic respond by rushing B-Long.
No flank control, by the way.
0. Yeah, he's already over here. Out. And Sassy is going to be greeted by something I don't think he expects, but maybe he's got a little bit of consideration. And if you're Loud, you're asking the question, where the hell are they? And there's the Seeker's going to be coming out. There's a swing off the back, and Sassy still holds. Takes down Marv, that's huge. Yay overwhelmed, still going to grab one with him and take him down to the grave. But it's a favorable fight this time for Loud, holding numbers. Crashy's going to get out of this flash in time. There's still 3 of them looking for it. They are not comfortable. They're going to pop the ult to try and deal with it. It's going to be an execution from above. No, Sassy again handling every single problem that Optic are throwing at them here. And that's lovely work from Loud. Finally stamping a little authority in this game.
Sassy, the only one really drawn to check the flank there because he has the Hunter's Fury. It's the last thing there that Loud want to rely on after finding a comfortable plant.
Thank God he does.
I mean, here, look at how much clutter there is on his screen to even still find that kill. Again, I mean, is this a round that Loud can replicate?
That's a lot of pressure on that man's shoulders. They have to. Again, Sassy, what a leader in that regard. Just, you know, as said, holding nerve, watching that flank. Optic can hit the timeout on the final round here, maybe just discussing with what their money scenario is, what to come up with, maybe expand on the plan a little more.
That there, though, is a perfect example to what I'm talking about, the variety of this aggression. The rounds where Loud decide to stack up, Optic are just absolutely farming. In terms of space, just how much early information, they can stall a little bit if it's FNS with the poison or potentially to slow things down on short. Like I said, that actually really highlights just how important that engagement is as Sassy drifts away from it. Whether or not, now they're actually now going to lean heavier towards stacking up here. Again, that threat has to be a constant consideration for them.
And I've got to say, like, you look at that string kind of mid first half of rounds, 5 back-to-back. It was very, very clear-cut for Optic, but again, Loud, these players are so capable of turning a scoreline one more round, and you know it's a good half for me. I'm okay with that.
It feels like an absolute miracle with the way Optic have played this once again on the defensive side. If Loud can scrape together a 7-5, that is huge in my eyes.
Okay, early ult goes in. That's FNS going to try and shut down the approach at least towards short. And yeah, again, he's found so much room. They're allowing this to happen.
Marv's here too.
But they're not unaware of it. You can see that players are looking this way. Aspas was already looking this way. I think, excuse me, Pancada was already looking this way. Hunter's Fury going to go out, send it through. Try and clear FNS. Maybe a tag would be great. Now for it. Yay, though. Oh, yay! Big players make big plays in big games, and he just did 3 kills back-to-back. And look at the buy they had coming into this. Huge impact alone. Sadak, you got nothing to do with it. Aspas now as well, left all to his own. A 1v5 off the back of Ye being such a nuisance, such a threat in all occasion. And now what do you do with this? You got to try and dismantle them. I don't know how you're going to make it around, but Aspas will give it a damn good try. Marv is closing in, and of course, look who's waiting in the back lines. The devil himself, Ye, shuts down this half. 8-4, I mean. I thought this could have been close right back in. Like, I thought that was going to be, you know, that 7-5, hey, game on, but 8-4 feels different.
I mean, you talk about it in the previous round. There's example 2. What goes wrong when Optic are able to actually convert this space early on? And it's on the back of the Hunter's Fury. He knows.
Yeah.
He's testing the diligence of Loud here. Is somebody watching Sassy's back? Is somebody covering that?
Well, they're going to have a rude awakening on the second half if they're certainly not, because 8-4, it's competitive, but it's not completely clear-cut. Guys on the desk, your thoughts?
Thank you very much there, guys. I'm so glad Hypok brought up the whole point of their defense and how they're taking space there. And Saisho, sometimes I'm not quite sure if Optic are playing defense or attack. They're just pushing.
They love disrespecting their opponents when their opponents don't have a chamber. They will just push and push and push. And it feels like part of that timing is based off the fact that Aspas is not really covering sand. He's not using that boombot up there.
I think there were, 3 or 4 different instances in which they were just able to expose the gaps that Loud had in their attack half. You saw it in showers, you saw it down sand. The last round really just kind of puts it all together. If they're able to exploit that, that makes for a long half.
And it's really interesting that we see Ye actually put himself in that position as the chamber as well on the flank, because that's exactly what you said, Josh, at the beginning of this. They are disrespecting the crap out of the fact that their comp, Loud's comp, is not theirs, the one that Optic is playing.
Sure.
They are saying, hey, this doesn't work at all. There's so many instances, look at this, where Crash is just peeking long, he's walking down sand by himself, and that gives him the information to have everybody here for when the execute happens.
What I find amazing as well is this is not based on any VOD review prep, right? This is not based on them looking at Optic and saying, I've identified a hole. This is them thinking about the composition, intuitively understanding how the meta works right now, and finding and exploiting those holes individually just based off the info they get. I think Optic are the best team in the world on Bind right now, and they're showcasing it.
How disastrous will it be if Loud aren't able to find any answers into the second half?
That could be, I mean, that could be the end of the series. That's what we're looking at right now. It could be 2-0, and then we're going to a map 3 that the pressure is on at that point.
It's certainly going to test their mental like they've never been tested before. These guys have not had a huge amount of experience on the stage. That's been Optic's domain.
On Ascent, they did hit back in the second half. They found a response. I'm looking forward to seeing if they can do that here, Pansy and Hypok as well.
Yeah, I think for me, this is a bit of a litmus test of what Optic really is right now, because as the desk kind of alluded to, right, this is a little bit of a new environment.
I mean, it's a great point from Josh. This is based on no prep, right? Yeah. So like I said, this is just the checklist in place for Optic. This is kind of their ethos, right? Trust the process. Like they're starting blank canvas, don't care what you're bringing, we're bringing our game plan and we're executing.
We kind of heard that in the interviews as well. I think it was FNS who was saying it, like, we're not going to go too hard into the ante here. We're just going to try and play our approach, our game, and you're seeing it tangibly on your screens. Now, there is a buffer here in this round. We don't need to be full on board the Optic train because 4 rounds is enough to work with. We need to see Loud finally play their own game, though, because they are being dictated to. They haven't been able to be in control of that pace just yet. But now they get the defensive side to start that up. Here in the second half at 8-4, Optic, of course, leading the series thus far, but we're in best of 5 territory in the grand finals here in Reykjavik. And again, Loud, what do you have for us this time?
Well, though, just related back to that domestic performance, Loud do lean a little attack-sided here, so ready to come in with a disadvantage. Puts Optic definitely in the driving seat here. Less is actually, I mean, it's burning up a lot of toxin here, but nobody on the side of Optic actually here to pressure on the backside on the cooldown. Already Sassy actually going to hit this early rotation as Optic do drift back this way, and it's the drone actually to come through. It's just slipped through. Unnoted, I think, as well.
There's a window, though, where he can make anything of this. And wait, Aspas to the side of the head. He just dipped back out from shower. I didn't think he was really within killing distance, but apparently so. Finds it for almost free, and they can't really dig him out of this position. Optic, this is not good. This is not looking nice at all. As Aspas going to find 3 this round. Perfect work for him. Playing that nuisance player from shower to absolute perfection. Swings in, can't quite get it, but Sassy's by his side. And that's more than enough work. That's them basically giving them a gateway back in this game.
So if they can convert the second, I mean, fumbled the second round on the first half, but they can find it here, definitely puts them right back in this. Great work from Aspas.
Really nice.
I think see as well with these smokes here, it just allows Loud to just wait for the moment to capitalize on Aspas finding contact.
Really well done. You'd want maybe a nice little momentum builder for him. Get him in the game early.
Like quiet map 1.
Yep.
Again, not really through his own fault, but...
Pop flash. There it is. Didn't really swing much on that. Victor was pretty much ready for it.
1 down.
Less comfortable. And the only upgrade here will be with Marv. Everyone else just on the classics. Playing pretty close to this. They do need to be careful, and you'll take that absolutely every day of the week, and caution thrown to the wind for Crash. He's going to try and find one. Les quickly quells that problem and looks back. But this is good for Optic, still finding a couple of favorable moments, and if Ye still stands and he's got that gun to hand, there's always a danger. Not right now. Sassy says no, not this round. We're going to keep this in check. 3 of them play alive. They don't lose too much. The reinvestments will be fine.
It's key as well, bringing across that 3-weapon buffer to the bonus round. See how it actually sits here, whether or not it's just going to be pistols to round this purchase out. A judge actually in the hands of Les, so eyes go towards him. No surprises to see him early on towards hookup. Optic, no real progress in terms of ultimates either coming into this, so let's see on the other side, Aspas with the, what was it? Victor managed to get his showstopper online in round 4 in the first half, and Aspas not too far off the pace, to be honest with you.
No, certainly keep it. Early confirmation of attendance, at least towards that B-long side. Giving a little idea. Jump peak reveals a whole lot more, though. So you got to be cautious now. You're going to post up left with that judge. That's could be nasty to try and handle. What's Dad doing?
I was waiting for one of us to say it.
Yeah.
But actually, on the other side of this, with a little bit of space towards Hookah here, Wes actually in the, I guess, the unexpected position with the judge, and difficult here if Optic wide swing this. He can be cleared here, and again, could be difficult for him to really close out a kill. I think Optic are feeling as if there's kind of a bait here. This is a trap that they're walking into.
I don't think they have utility to clear it too easily. Yeah, the molly, but again, he could still swing on that. It's not something that's going to completely nullify him from this round. Now, obviously, he doesn't know it. Yeah, he's going to have to hard clear, and he's going to just take the buckshot to the chest, and it's labored, but it works. Let's all take it at this point. Sassy with a mad spray, and look at the numbers advantage. Optic being torn limb from limb. Crash is still alive, though, but Les is going to be a problem. They've got to try and clear him now. Flash for it. Has to turn. You can see the longevity of the flash coming into play. 13 HP. Les looks dead. And the spike's back in hand. But again, Aspas still working, still putting in so much damage, and a quick TP take for Crashies. It better be quick. 10 seconds.
10 seconds
got the Seekers
left.
off the plant. Could be key for him here, especially if Loud split up. So yeah, anticipating one plant, but Crashies nice little adjustment there.
Real smart. Oh, he's got the judge.
Oh, he swapped out for the wrong weapon.
Oh no, I thought he had a rifle.
It's a disaster. He's got to play close contact now.
Well, he's got a flash to play with, and that's about it. Let's see what you can do with this, because this changes the entire dynamic. One flash sends it, doesn't get anything for it. They're both in towards lamps right now. 10 more seconds till he gets the other one up, but Pancada spots it. Nice work. A whole different round if he had the rifle, but for Loud, that is a breath of fresh air. That got so dangerous, but again, they are showing this capability time and time again.
I think you're absolutely right. The weapon swap doesn't come through there. Actually, got an opportunity for Crashies to play that a little differently. And ultimately relies on Loud completely dropping the ball here in the retake. Holdamenta somewhere grinning ear to ear seeing that clip.
One enemy remaining.
A great recovery from Loud though, because initially, I mean, it looked as if FNS and Crashies are able to make that work. The pressure comes through to Les at the right time, and he's the one actually controlling the spike as well. It's a great decision making on the side of Crashies there to really go forward, force the issue, and find that engagement.
And this purchase coming in for Optic, looking shoddy, but
no ultimates as well.
Silent through. And at this point, I want to see if they've got something in mind. And well, I mean, I guess charging at them works with Frenzy. Takes you some space.
That's brilliant though. With the poison orb, they actually played anti-flash on the fountain, waited for the orb tap to come through. They try and flash, and Victor's there to try and double sat you up to close the distance. So unfortunately, they're not to find a kill, but
nice intention.
yeah, force Sadak right back towards Elbow. A little bit of pressure shown towards B. Actually pulls a rotation early as well.
And they're a little ahead of this, but I guess it depends on when they decide to pick up the pace, switching Pandays.
Wait, Marv's got a Guardian.
And we saw what Marv can do with that.
Yeah.
So, again, Aspas is here. It's a trade.
Spike
Okay,
down
Marv
A.
keeps this a little bit feisty as Ye's going to try and late clear towards Shower. Not a bad plan, but Aspas reads it so perfectly. Really diligent work from him. There's that rifle removed in the hands of Victor. Aspas! This guy's a demon. Absolutely keep them in check, and all that hope gets removed here for Optic. A chance in this round, and it ain't looking likely now. Aspas brings that scoreline all even. We're at 8-8.
Just like that, Louder back in this in the second half once again. 4 unanswered rounds here.
These guys are so good.
Yeah.
The capability to turn games like this around, it's not easy.
I mean, it's terrifying. If Aspas comes online, we've seen what this guy can do.
Yeah.
It could be a real win condition for Loud. I mean, he is a real win condition for Loud.
He's on 22-12 right now.
Yep. There's 3 players on Loud that are actually still below 10 kills.
Yep.
Which just shows actually the overperformance almost from Aspas. And we saw actually, I mean, Doug was alluding to it earlier, right? There was that performance on Icebox from Les where, I mean, Sassy even in an interview said, yeah, he hard carried us that game. And if there's characters in this roster that can literally solo carry a map, it's a fairly scary prospect.
It certainly is. I mean, Optic do have Yay. So,
I would counter that with actually Optic have...
Marved.
Yeah, they have like
Victor.
4, potentially 5 actually with that map. 1
with
performance
FNS.
from FNS.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's okay. At least it's not like that other game, the Simpleton. Right? It's different, I promise you.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Never heard of that.
Nope.
8-8. Anyway.
I'm not much of a golfer.
You're funny. Yay with the operator, though, could be something of influence here. Finally going to get that at least on board this time. But again, Aspas, this guy's impact alone has been sublime. 22-12 at this point, considering that to turn back a scoreline too.
With the operator here, I'm curious actually to see if Optic want to slow things down even more here.
Then work a pick,
Yep.
maybe.
Yeah. Victor on a judge. Actually, the complete opposite to that. He's probably going to try and speed up here.
Yeah. Polar opposites almost, right? But let's see. Close flash. And Victor's away. So going to take early control over towards elbow. And you can see actually on the other side, there's a lot of players there. So Victor going to take a lot of space. Obviously, he doesn't know how much work he's done, but this is somewhat of a stack on the other side as well. You're going to have the early rotation coming into. You have Sadak sitting towards CT, but it's going to be Yay. I mean, this guy's playing pretty aggressive. Tip of the spear with the operator. Certainly no backline player. Happy to lead.
Smokes are about to die, though. And
I feel like they're just sending Yay to try and deal with Aspas, but there are other players lingering around.
And they have to tap the spike, pull out this gravity well. They're waiting for Marth to actually come and pinch showers here. Yay knows that he's got us pinned in the corner. The flash is good, but Marth actually, doesn't swing on it.
No, Aspas is fine as well, gets to swing back into that. Didn't get flashed by any means to that degree, so he was able to address that push. This feels tailor-made to try and deal with a man in showers, and they absolutely crunch on Optic. This is beautiful from Loud. Stunning play, Victor would have to go hero mode. It ain't gonna happen. Aspas is still the beast who will not be tamed. He will not be moved. That whole piece in my mind was trying to set up to isolate him, and he just did not care for it.
Absolutely.
What a terror this man is.
And again, this hit almost relies on Loud slipping up, giving away the opening engagement, losing that first blood. That's actually crazy. Again, whether or not slowing it down is going to work here for Optic. Because they're onto site pretty early, right? It's the Stim Beak and the double satchel. Again, now Aspas can play a little out of showers.
You want to play? Let's play.
Oh, that was really uncomfortable. The timing for Pancada. Unfortunate, but just a little bit bizarre to go wandering.
Big win, though. I feel like that's the easiest first blood that Optic have been able to find.
Did they get the rifle off it? I don't know if they did. I felt like they were close enough, but maybe just dipped back in. Yeah, he spotted a player, but it's Aspas waiting again, this guy. Can you clear him? Yay seems all too away. Yay! Absolutely unreal, but it is traded out quickly. Sassy.
Oh my God.
Sadak, they're all blind. He has to shot. He chased down Mob. Oh, it's mayhem. What is going on?
What was that? Optic on the feed into the TP.
What?
Absolutely.
Like lambs to the slaughter.
Absolutely desperate. Sadak literally eats his own flash. Everyone's just stood there, hands up in the air, like, well, that happened.
Oh dear, and they do say desperation really isn't attractive, and I mean, what on earth was that round? Guys, just trade him.
Let's swing them together, guys. Yeah, that one will get the fans on the feet.
That's one for the fans right there.
Loud on double digits.
Mate, it's 10. Optic have given us nothing here. They can't deal with Aspas. It feels like this entire half now, after that tactical timeout, brought them back in to try and find the formula to remove this man, but there's new looks, new positions, new ways that he wants to find problems dealt with. Finally, they could hit the brakes for a second if they wanted. Now they've finally taken that man out of the game who's been a huge determinant factor. However, they decide not to. They want to keep this pressure up. So it looks like the spike plant is on the docket. And Yay making himself become the gatekeeper over towards...
They have to convert this post plant. Get the spike plant first.
Yeah,
it's taking forever here. They're so cautious. Hesitant almost.
They're just trying to work out that utility, potentially try and draw whatever they can out of it.
Spammed again too.
It's not pretty for him. You can see the amount of pressure they're having to work against. His Seekers come in, and now the re-engage from Loud. They could try and turn the tempo a little bit. Spray doesn't quite find as much as they'd want, and the TP gets taken. They've had enough of that.
No way, do they make it back? Can they make it back before the Viper's pit drops? Surely not.
Oh, with
The stim will help.
Did they make it back in time?
30 seconds
And divine intervention called upon. Do they? No, they just missed by a second. And there's still players nearby. Mark finds Sassy. The send on it, an Optic. How are you turning this one back in your favor? That looks so far out of touch. There's now less in the 1v5, and he wasn't even near that site at this point. That's a mad round by Optic.
They keep 5 standing as well. Look at the funds. It's going to be massive in terms of the finances. Les going to come through. Labored on the first Marved. Good for the trade. The 4th in the round for him. And Optic finally answer back.
Who am I kidding? My knees
A
are
window of chance again, man.
6-1 on the half, Lauren.
Yeah, just do that again, though. Can we just do that again?
Yeah, sure.
Cool, fantastic, thank you. Yeah, you just hit that shot on Aspas, and then we can spiral the rest of the round. Lovely, big fan. That was... This is what it's about, man. 9 to 10, what a crazy round. And Loud probably just baffled after seeing that. Like, all right, man.
The crazy thing is, Loud still leaves somebody.
Oh,
I mean, Crashes is posted up in showers there. I don't know if he's actually pressuring at all, but Loud still considered the possibility.
Absolutely.
I mean, as soon as Les feels no pressure come through Hooker there, they can kind of read into it.
Talk about repeatable success, Mike, and we have to kind of step it back a little here. Optic have not given me this overall good look yet. I want to see more consistency. That's going to help it. Yay, cracking open the round with that first pick. And now that calls in for potential rotations, maybe getting over aggressive. But look at Crashies waiting on the other side. If they go walkabouts, he'll meet them with a smile. Same can be said towards middle. Les wants a little bit of information potentially.
It's awkward here. Pancada posted up, Trailblazer used, so whether or not Optic are going to be able to sniff this out. Actually, elsewhere, Marv will fall to Les. Again, no follow-up on that kill.
No, yeah, I'm looking to see if Sussy leans back towards B. Pop Flash didn't catch Pancada at all. Able to drag Crashies with him, but a quick trade. Aspas, no man's land. Yay is coming alive here. That's the Yay that Optic need. Hunter's Fury comes down. Can FNS get the plan? Yes, but can he keep his life? No, not for now at all. And now Victor and Yay, what do you have for us in this post plan? Sassy and Les trying to clear those close corners. They have no idea where these players reside.
Victor's tucked in so deep as well and has the paint shell. So he's the late round piece here for Optic. Can Yay buy him the time necessary?
Yeah, he's got to be the one to get that contact, right? He's got to be the one to keep them
He's got the
in
TP as well
attention.
still.
Oh, you're right. Yay can be a problem. Speaking of, time is the problem. Victor going to catch this cross potentially. I'm waiting for the swing to come down. They're already towards the site. They're trying to address the factor of Shao is going to just eat that paint shell. Les has to move. He doesn't get away in time, and Sassy, you can try and clear the side, but Victor's just going to play the time. He'll put his life on the line for it, because the clock is on their side. We are tied up at 10-10.
After that previous round, like I said, it was going to be a massive bonus. I want to see the economy here. And Optic will be bought within one purchase. But like I said, Victor plays this perfectly. And he has to be the late round piece there. Has to be.
The temptation, I'm sure, to swing early could have happened there, but no, he plays it super cool, super calm.
It takes Loud an eternity to even come through pipes there. They're so conscious of somebody tucking up, playing close contact there.
Timeout, man.
Again, especially with Yay still alive, they got to consider the TP possibility. He can go for one and done.
We've actually got a game now. Because this just felt like kind of two one-sided halves. I think it's a fair assessment. Now we're starting to see a little bit of a fight back.
And you know what? I like the comparison there because look at Optic's inability to convert this space on the second half now, where they were given everything to play with here. Loud are pretty much doing the same. They're like, yeah, we're not going to challenge close. Sure, we're not going to drift out anywhere.
No easy options.
We're not going to try and punish the back line. And Optic are failing to actually convert this space the same way they did on defense. And ultimately, it's on Loud's ability to really, I mean, it's damage control, right? Damage limitation almost, not giving away this first engagement until there's 3 people there, until they're able to rely on the fundamentals. There's a second swing, potentially on Aspas from Showers, perfect example. The smokes come through. Loud just pause. They just wait for Optic to slip up.
We actually might have a good best of 5.
Right here.
Maybe.
You didn't think so before?
I'm jaded. Could you guess? 10-10. It's all tied up. Optic coming alive in these final moments, these late game moments here. Decisive play is Loud. Set the tempo on this half, though. They had led that scoreline back to where it is. And it looks like they want to try and aggress. Marv eats the flash, but they take the space. So a little bit of a trade out early on.
So actually send out a probe here. Won't find anything on the back of it. Again, another difference to consider is look how frugal Optic are in terms of utility, not being burnt up, wasted towards finding the showers control. Boombot actually sent out there on the back of the pressure coming back through, but yeah, he's still trying to find an opportunity towards Hookah here. Like I said, Loud haven't been pushing out. Whether or not actually it's a big concern if Loud do decide a little switch up here and do want to get a little proactive.
I've got your trail.
Whether or not they're going to find success doing so. Seeker sent out. To initially find one, Aspas stands tall.
But he gets a trade. Marv trades him out, though, and that's essential because normally he was able to spiral back Pancada, no man's land, nothing to do. Utility work on point from Optic as 11's going to be beckoning on the board as Sadak and Les. They were far away. They were on the other side of the map. This isn't looking good for them here, and it looks like Optic have the solution that they'd been missing for those first couple of rounds. Effectively trading out one of those key players who was able to really tear through them early on. It's Les and Sadak, what do you do with this? How do you clear these positions? So little to play with still. And yeah, the crossfire's golden. Timing great on the peak. Double face and Optic keep 4 standing and make it to 11.
Big round there, and a big win considering how those rounds have traditionally played out towards a site. Aspas, as I said, finds the first here, but the spacing perfect this time around from Optic. And willing actually to invest behind this engagement. Smoke's a little deeper as well. They want to open up these sight lines now on site, as opposed to just assuming the best possible scenario that nobody's going to pressure on the back of them. I think actually it's on the back of the Seekers being invested, right? They want to make sure that they can maximize the value off that ultimate. The first time actually we've seen a heavy B-lane from Optic.
You can already see the investment of the ult very early on here, not finding much value at all.
I mean, nobody able to really backfill that through Hookah. There's 4 towards long here. It's only FNS there. And he's conscious of the TP crunch. He has to be. Being the only man on that side. Curious now what the next step is for Optic. Are they going to just cut sound here and hope for the best in terms of the rotation? There's no follow-up pressure on that.
Just going to do what looks like probably a burst piece here. If there is a flash to come off it, there is Crash. He's got it in hand. And there it is. Straight through we go. Les completely blind. Has to dip his way back in. Marv going to at least find Sassy on the way through here in this bloodlust. You can see Sadak once in. Yeah, he's still there, but gets deleted. Sadak still holding. Pancada trades it well as well. Making sure they at least keep even numbers, but look who remains.
Look at Victor.
30 seconds left.
Victor is behind the wire. Pancada turns it. Marved in the 1v2. Unnoted. Aspas seems to be considering it. It's done though. Mars found him, and now a 1v1. Pancada already noted the back of the site as well. He was the one
who got the spike.
Just got the spike back. I thought he was getting checked on, but the footsteps 7 bullets. All that they've got. Pancada still standing, and Loud still alive. It's 11-11. These two teams, you can't get between them right now. It is looking like it's coming down to the wire here.
You see Marv just considering the TP there, if he can slip away, but I mean, he needs another 10 seconds on the clock for that to work. Sadak, though, this re-aggress to prevent Optic from garnering site control here. Pancada finding that kill as well onto Victor. That could have really turned things around. All tied up here. Tour de force available. Optic string together this purchase. No ultimates on the other side, but Aspas one away. Les one away. Sadhack one off the Seekers as well. Can Ye pave the way? He find this opener.
He's trying it. You could see before the intention, but again, this utility is making a problem.
One.
Marv's done really well to find Pancada. He was the one keeping those two players kind of somewhat safe in shower, but now this should at least allow for a plant. You might take some damage for it.
What?
Aspas! How do you have the right to find 2? Spots 1, try and make a run for it. He's trying to clear this out. No one close. Great work from Marv, keeping composure under these pressure moments. Because now we see what happens. Sadak with the spray, tries to find it, gets it. FNS just completely revealed. Victor, though, the Seeker, he's going to take down Sadak. And you're right, Paint Shell's back around. Sassy and Les, what do you do with this? Marv can still be a nuisance. They have to clear one. Sassy's going to take down Victor. The paint shells aren't going to do enough here, as now it's all on Marv in a 1v2. Diffuse going to come in. He finds one. He takes it off the Diffuse, but it's Sassy still to find it, to get Loud to 12.
3 HP. Marv comes excruciatingly close to winning that one. And Optic now.
Dire Straits now.
Backs against the wall. And so, again, this time around, you see how eager they are to prevent Victor from playing late here in Showers. It's so close. Yeah, you can see exactly.
Yeah.
A sigh of relief.
It's OT, or it's Loud with map 2. As we go once again, and the money is shoddy from Optic, down on Spectres. Whatever they can scrape together. Oh, to respect that utility early on, though.
Actually now, with Aspas doing this much damage from Showers, you can see Optic actually now leaning the complete opposite way. They're over-investing to dig him out of that position. They retrieve the orb, Showstopper online, Viper's Pit available, Orbital Strike available. Optic could do this, Lauren.
Good. But I look at the man Aspas. Look at Sassy over here. And look at this Sadax coming over. They still have yet to clear him. Victor gonna go full force. He finds Sadax, but Sassy is still alive. Victor finds Sassy. Carter's here. Aspas is still here. He's been deleted by Victor. And now a 2v2. And look what they've got. Les still with that judge. It ain't ideal. And Carter's position noted. TP time. Get out of there. They've worked out enough. It's time to go. And Les is on just a foot race at the moment. He's got the Spectre. It's not much. It might be enough to take down Victor. Oh, and Molly is divine at this time. Pops the ult to try and find a way through to facilitate the push out from CT here. But it also draws attention. And Carter's not coming through this way. He's coming through from Hookah, and they are none the wiser. This could be the brick in the small of the back of Optic. There's Les trying to keep all those eyes on him. Do not look anywhere else. I am the problem for you. And Carter desperately trying to clear. Does he spot anyone? No. And Victor staying on site. Marved, sitting towards long.
Did Victor spot that?
I don't know if he did. Marved and Victor just need to hold. Pencada starts to close in. The barrel shows. And now one more player less. What can you do? What can you find? Victor so low on HP, but he's still alive. He's still breathing. But he's going to lose his teammate. Marv goes down. Another Diffuse. He's just going to try and sip this. But time has gone away of Victor. It's 1 HP is all he needed. We're tied up. It's 12-12. It's OT.
Switching sides.
Victor finds the ace to force overtime here on Bind. Can you believe it, Lauren? I mean, this second half has been so back and forth. Both teams adjusting perfectly as the rhythm of this game has changed. Without breaking a sweat, seemingly.
Well, I'm glad they're calm.
I'm having kittens up here.
Mate, I'm going to have a seat in a moment. I'm going to have to grab this screen with me down here. I need you. This is only map 2. We've got a best of 5. This was like the unknown one. This was the unknown map.
Yeah.
This was the weird one. I mean, you've got Breeze, Ice. Oh, there's so much goodness to this. We're back underway. It's OT between these two. Brazil's Loud up against North America's Optic. Doing everything they can. It looks like Aspas wants to just tear them limb from limb. Taking that early space and forcing them back into the shower. He knows what it's like to try and thrive in there. Victor! Get out of here! So fast with a Yaden Isasi. This is a shutdown. Optic keep in control. Aspas and Les only left to watch as the 1v3 would really call for some heroics. And I just don't think he's got it. Optic quick with this one.
I mean, Loud looked to get a little pacier here towards A site. Optic just ripped them limb from limb. Comfortable there, holding on to site. Concern being, though, Optic felt a little flat in some of these attacking rounds. Now they have to find... Well, yeah, cool. Unlucky Sadak.
A timeout. I think you're right, though. That discomfort was certainly apparent here. And Loud were very much, I'd say, in control for the dominant part of this. So probably the right option here for Optic to try and maybe address that coming in, take almost pause for thought.
Yeah, I mean, the timeout being called here because a lot rides on this. Like I said, Optic didn't really come away with anything to sort of replicate. No real comfort on the attack. curious to see actually what the approach is here. Whether or not Loud, I mean, I was talking about the potential for them to dig a little deeper, maybe get a little proactive on their defense. Whether or not this is the time now they throw a spanner in the works, a real curveball for Optic to try and catch a grip on. What a series already. Just like, you think at this point, usually it's like at the best of 3, it's like, this is map 2. I mean, yeah, if somebody wins it, it's
Pretty
like,
good,
yeah, cool, we could have. Like I said, this veto for me could go the distance.
Yeah, there's a chance.
Ascent being the one that, in my eyes, is already flipped. Bind, if Optic close this.
Yeah, I think in my mind when I came in looking at the veto, I saw Ascent as one for Loud just because I liked how they looked on it. I think they delivered enough to keep me on board. Gets flipped. Okay, cool. Binds the unknown, and we get this close affair. I mean, you can sit there and analyze the rest of the map, as I'm sure the desk will, but as it stands, we go back in. What does Optic have for us now? Because, again, this half of them wasn't great. However, Loud have put 4 players towards A. Les is very alone. He will have support on the way. Sassy's made it over here in time, but again, Optic have built a lot of pressure up on Long already. They've taken at least one of the 2 steps that you need here. Now, take a little bit of that space back. Okay, they pulled over an additional player as well. You can have Sadak coming over on this side too.
Aspas could still be called upon here to hold down this Shower's position if Optic decide to TP or even peel away from this. Actually, a head presented, but that's actually going to miss that one. The investment of the poison orb now, Optic might actually decide to follow through.
I don't know if they noted this. Les has pushed back up on this. They have no idea. While that flash came through, Les took the advantage. I love that play from him. So brave to do it in these moments. As Jay tries to do the dance, deals with him well. Going to switch to the secondary and get out of danger. They are desperate to try and shut him down. Aspas even on the case here. But again, we're on 30 seconds. Where is the rest of Optic in this case? Trying to break through towards Long. TP taken, rotations pulled, but the player still stands. It's Pancada.
Look at Crashies.
The punishment here. Crashies could be the dagger in the back. No way is Aspas checking this. No way are they checking on this. And okay, we've got to spin across because Pancada's doing similar scenes here. He was waiting very late towards that A side. Sadak's dealt with Crashies, and Pancada's kept space, but you can see that utility just remaining on the side there. So again, they must be aware of this. FNS finds Pancada, that's huge. And now it's all the players coming back in. They've addressed the unknown. They found the player who they did not note before. And now a 3v3.
1 kill on the Viper's Pit for FNS as well. It's an awkward position to get it going though.
Oh, Sassy on the swing! It's so good! And now, the 1v1 the showstopper against Sassy! He's got the showstopper online. Sassy has got barely any HP, really. Takes some chunks of damage. Victor needs to play so composed here. Keep the pressure up! He finds Sassy!
Attackers win.
It's 14-12! Optic have done it in OT! That's 2 now on the board for the boys, and they are looking hot to trot here.
Victor finds the ace to force overtime, then clutches up from that trademark position in Showers. Again, so much to work with in the post plant. Beautifully done by Optic.
Optic are laying foundations right now. The brick by brick mentality coming into play step by step. They are doing this. They are building their own house here in Reykjavik, taking over what any legacy was left because they have just put up a stunner of a performance at 14-12 here. Map 2, of course, being a best of 5, though we still have plenty to see. But Ye, for me, really stepped up after not having necessarily a quiet game, but he was really finding a little bit of form later in this as well. We had clutch after clutch. Victor, what a performance from him.
I mean, Ye ended up pulling a 30 bomb there, out of left field. I'm just looking at that, I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, fair enough. And Victor as well, like you said, I mean, so pivotal in the post plant for Optic. I mean, the few that they're actually able to comfortably get into. Constantly a threat. Marved as well. Finds himself 5 first bloods here. On the Brimstone as well. It's just like, yeah, fair enough.
For me, again though, Aspas was so close to breaking Optic in that game. Genuinely, he was a conundrum that they were struggling to handle, and he has been so sharp with it as well. Good game for him. Sassy as well. We had actually a good performance from Loud. This was no quiet performance by any means. But again, somehow Optic just elevated again here. 13-9 on the first, now 14-12 on the second. I don't think they can get any closer. Maybe double OT. I don't know how we're going to keep expanding on this. Because Breeze now is the next destination. And I don't know where that goes here.
I mean, I'm leaning towards this being Loud responding
be,
here
right?
with a map victory. It's huge that Aspas is able to have a pop-off game here, because coming in, he's going to be pivotal in terms of moving over to that jet on the breeze, in terms of expectations at least. So big win there, considering he did have a quieter time on Ascent. Loud still did very well on Ascent. So it's not to say that they crumbled without him popping off, but it is massive for him to come up and have a big performance here on Bind.
Absolutely, and I want to see that carry on, because we've seen this now from the Optic players. I want to see it back in from Loud time and time again. I want a full best of 5. Don't let this end too early, okay? Let's go the distance here. And before we do, we're going to go to a break, and we'll be back by the desk.
one step closer to lifting a trophy here at Masters Reykjavik after that performance on a bind. I'm back on the desk with Doug, Baller, and Sideshow. That wasn't easy, though. That could have really, in the end, Baller, gone to the side of Loud.
Yeah, really. I mean, Aspas was popping off. There were so many ridiculous moments there where there's heroics on the side of Loud that kept them in that game, but Optic found the thread down the line and really made the difference.
It was an insane comeback, honestly, because the beginning of the second half was not going their way at all, and I thought, Optic's attack side is looking pretty limp here. This could be a real danger. Both of these maps have gone in a somewhat similar way, where you start to believe in the comeback, and then Optic just managed to pull it out at the end.
They just bait you just when you're fully committed to it. I think Ye had himself an insane map, right? And again, it's very much Ye. We were actually talking about this while the map was going on. It almost feels like if Ye's not dropping a 30 bomb, we're like disappointed.
Well,
he did,
but he was back. Yeah, he absolutely did. And they managed to take down Aspas, the final boss from Brazil. He put up an electric performance. 29 kills, pulling out so many impact plays, left, right, and center in that second half. But just couldn't get it.
I want to go back to what you were saying, Josh, because you mentioned Optic's attacking half and how it hadn't looked great. I think, to be honest, in this series, they have looked a little lackluster. I think the mid-round calling hasn't been there like it was. Defensively, Finesse is Defensively, Finesse is reading them like a book, but on attack, the mid-round calling hasn't looked as good as it has throughout the rest of the tournament, but this felt like a changing moment for me. The mid-round call to go ahead and flip the map, go through telly, rotate back. You had drawn off the rotations, and yeah, they didn't get to the Viper Spit in time. That would have been really dope. But it's that kind of thing that I think we've grown to expect from Finesse, and honestly, on the first map, it felt a little lacking. Remember, they only had 3 rounds. This one lacked 2.
The desk at the beginning, before myself and Doug popped up, said that Optic are in the best shape, the best form they've ever been in. And I completely agree with that. We've seen these players in the grand final situation before, but the fluidity, the individual performances, and that calling from FNS has just been sublime.
I mean, let's talk about the fact that Optic have been here before. You guys can see on your screen. The last time they were at a grand final, Bala, it was tears. It was sad. They were 3-0'd by Meg.
You could tell in that match that they were lacking the experience. They were lacking the mental fortitude to be in a grand finals against a team like Meg. This time around, it's completely different. The entire tournament, since that opening match against Zersha, they've looked confident. They've looked like they know what they're doing, and they're changing and doing things throughout the tournament that really makes you wonder what happened. Where'd that old Optic go?
Yeah. I mean, they are one map away now from reversing it completely and just taking the 3-0 sweep. And yeah, it's a map that it's normally their permaban, but at the same time here, there is a chance that Loud just crumble completely.
I think on the other side, we've got to talk about Breeze. We've got to talk about the fact that that's Optic's permaban. I think if there ever was a time for a comeback, it would be on Breeze.
Don't say the fateful words, Doug. Don't say them.
This could be a Meg Haven situation. Last time they were here in the grand final, like Bala just described, they got 3-0'd. One of those maps that they lost on was the permaban of Meg, Bala. Do you feel like this could be a similar situation here?
Yeah, this time they're holding on to the long end of the stick instead of the short end in the best of 5 veto situation. But that's the reason I was talking on Ascent, how that I don't think was a must win, because for me, I actually look at Optic and again, it's a new team. This is a team that every time they're losing on a map, they come out with something new, right? Every time they haven't played a map in a while, they're starting to lean away from it. For example, Fracture, which we saw throughout this tournament, get evolved. They come out with something new, something practiced, something that looks good. And in that grand finals where they did play Breeze, they played a troll comp. So you know that they were hiding something.
I mean, troll comp or a real comp, I don't think you'll really see FNS play. If they want to run Jet Chamber, their comp really doesn't, like their roster doesn't allow for it. I think if we're going to talk must-win maps, Loud, not only is this a must-win map because they're down 2-0 in the BO5, but you have to be able to take away your opponent's permaban. You simply have to win here. And that for a myriad reasons. But if they do, there is a serious threat that we go to an electric map 5, an unbelievable giga-banger of a BO5 series, the likes of which will remove all of the jaded nature of Pansy's mind and reset her back to her naive youthfulness. That's the kind of game.
What are you?
She's got her arms up in the air right now.
How much copium are you on right now, Josh?
But if you think about the maps that are coming up, it's Breeze, Optic's permaban, and then you'd be going into Icebox, where we've seen success from them before. I think Optic have showcased an ability to really prep heavy for the beginning half of the series, and they've done a great job here. But Loud have to get their mental back in right now.
Absolutely they do. But even still, I think that map 5 is a bit of a reach, right? Because you're going to Icebox, and that was a 13-11 where Les popped off. This series, he has been relatively absent.
He's been quiet, yeah. It was like the game of Les's career, to be honest. And we mentioned it at the beginning. How do you ask someone so young with such little experience on a stage as big as this to go, hey man, we need you to do that again?
I will say that if we bring it back to Breeze, Bartlett, you talked about how Optic, they have what it takes to bring out something new. They played this map 5 times, 4 different compositions, and they still haven't looked good on it, Bartlett. So
I mean, Lifetime, they haven't really played it much. They're 1-3. They only really played it at before Masters Berlin and at home.
Is that
okay? Right.
Well, we're into the Prime Gaming Agent Select, and Marv is playing Chamber.
And this is why I was saying I don't feel like it was a troll comp before, the way that they shifted the roles around. This makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
But FNS is not the kind of guy that you want really playing on the chamber. That's more of what, I mean, Victor tried it previously. Marv's going to try it here today. They want Ye to be playing the Jet, and they want fragging potential, huge amounts of it coming from the chamber. And FNS, he's been amazing today, but he's not normally that kind of player that you can rely on. This comp, though, puts Victor more in his role where he can have impact.
Well, Optic, they've come out with something new here. Pansy and Hypok, what do you make of this?
I just feel we're going to find out how deep this rabbit hole goes, right? This is like Wonderland right now with these two, and I don't know if we're Alice or who is at this point, because Optic pulling out a curious comp. Now, what do you make of this?
I mean, it feels a little more comfortable seeing the names next to the agents. I mean, Marv is lethal in that lurking position, right? He's been such a key late round piece for Optic in a number of different ways. Could this be him finding another comfort pick here for him?
But let's go back to the realms of reality. Let's find a little bit of composure here and talk this through.
Let's get real. Let's get real.
Speaking of, technical pause.
A little bit of time to talk about that, I guess.
Brilliant. No, we do need to talk about not only the fact that I am very jaded, thank you, Desk, appreciate that one. And I'm willing to be made a believer, right? I'm willing to let this happen. But coming back to what we expect to happen here, this should be Loud comfortably finding this map.
It should be, yeah. I mean, again, we're going to test the recovery factor of Optic, or at least the prep factor here, the innovation sort of factor, whether or not they've cooked up anything that's going to really, really work for them here on Breeze. I mean, you could argue that there's a bit of tape to work from, how well they can apply that here. We've seen that demonstrated very, very well previously by Optic. I'm very doubtful. I'm very doubtful. That's the issue, because you always talk about, yes, these are power players, but that switch up a role can really kind of upset the tempo, the comfort in communications, timings, things like that. It just, these slight adjustments can really throw things off. And Optic, where they have looked best is having this robust support system, utility investment. Yes, we're going to build around Ye here, but can Marv really deliver on that role? Again, on the attacking side, eyes don't naturally draw towards him as much.
I think for me, when I consider this game, I'm trying to think of what sort of scoreline would bring me back to normality. What do I need to see from Loud that makes me go, okay, we get to unlock the full best of 5, right? Like that's obviously what we want here. And I do need a commanding scoreline. I need almost denial of any double digits near Optic. I need it to look like, hey, there's a reason that we play this map and you don't. So again, I do need to see a little bit of confirmation of brilliance here from them, because they've had some very close maps and it can be arduous in those sort of games, and this should be quite carefree for Optic to an extent if you think about the pressure and which way it applies. So as it stands, Optic and Victor leading the way forward. Going to cop a little bit of damage and flash through it. Wait, he found Aspas in the heels. I thought he had no chance of that. Going to dip away just before the shock dart comes in as well. Ding towards Sadak and crashes. Going to find one. Jump peeking on 3 HP, of course you are, Victor. Going to fall back away from this as Ye is going to be catching the cross as well. There are layers to this. Like an onion.
Good choice.
Love a bit of Shrek.
Jumping down from that sort of wild swing.
0 trade potential on that. Optic are giving them nothing. The literal green wall is still up. They have to go through so much to even try and find a way back into this. Sassy and Hanakata, what are you going to do? Okay, Marv's found already one of them. This is clean. That's 5 alive for Optic.
Optic give no opportunity back into sight there for Loud. Again, I've got to say, just desperation to find something, jump peeking across double doors. And Aspas, if he's going to be playing this position, he has to be very, very careful.
Sure.
I think a lot of these hits are going to come through. We talk about the support system, the utility usage for Optic. They can isolate him and find that kill. Again, it gives the opportunity to that free plant towards main as well. They don't have to save plant on the right side of this pyramid. They can plant it open.
Again. Now it's how far does this go? I look at what can FNS do as well as an in-game leader. Ooh, aggression. There is a trap to this. And if it gets removed, that should be an indicator of something, but going to use a little cover to try and get around, and Victor's like, no, not today, actually.
No
I'm
nonsense.
still watching that. And for me, it's, how much can FNS do on a map like this, trying to call a whole new look? You've been given, a new set of cards to try and play with, completely different card game to try and work out. Oops. And for now, it's still looking kind of flawless. It's early, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See if Pancado and Les can find anything here, but Ye has so much control, so much space here, and actually Les going to be spotted out. Finds the wall bang as well.
Right, fair enough.
You can see the smiles on the faces in the player cams. Yeah, actually Pancada be removed as well. Again, actually on the other side of things, this is a little bit of a role switch up as well to have Pancada be the one to move across to the chamber.
It's been 2 flawless rounds, right?
Yeah, back-to-back Prime Gaming flawlesses. Is it happening?
No.
All right. We'll check back in 5 rounds or so, I guess.
Yeah. Give me like 2 full gun rounds, and I'll tell you. I'll tell you at that point.